mean, Riley Cooper, I mean, like, that dude deserves a statue. I mean, like,
number one on your speed dial.
Hey, I'll tell you what, like, I mean, I didn't know until a couple days after the fact. I was like, wait a minute, is he the MVP or like was he on the all-tournament team?
No doubt about it.
And then Ty Floyd, when I sure got 17, and like stole it from him. But I was like, when has a pitcher like been a part of like 5 of the 6 wins in Omaha? I mean, what a performance!
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for the time.
Pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Sharp a little late, boys, at the spring game, obviously, as you can see. Couple of booze cruises here to do. Let's do it. Cruise. Grand salami to the boys. Finally back on track. And I got another one coming. Don't you think I don't? And that's how we roll in Tiger Stadium.
Just watching the spring games that were on television, one thing that jumped out about your squad is your quarterback room is very talented compared to a lot of the league and a lot of the country. I wonder, is it easier to recruit that position when you have talent or when you don't have talent? Coach Kelly, we're official.
Finally,
I'm
get a
telling
chance to meet you. Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. There's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Tearing up, answering the question, and I thought, my God, if Chica is offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast, no matter where we at, we live. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show, yeah.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right.
Big day. Big day.
Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for the time. Welcome in to a Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. As always, we are built by our friends over at RMB Builders, and we are live here on our Click Here digital campus. Welcome into the week. We appreciate you starting here with us. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. Sorry for missing yesterday. We had a good weekend.
Difficulties.
LSU had a good weekend. Everybody had a good weekend. Congratulations to the Younglesbys. We were at their wedding over the weekend, a weekend wedding. Started on Friday night. They actually...
A weekend I need to remember?
They said the I-do's on Saturday. They closed it off with a brunch on Sunday. It was a beautiful weekend for the Younglesbys. It was a beautiful weekend for LSU football. We're going to talk all about it here. Coming up over the next 2 hours, we're also going to talk to Billy Luchi over at Tex Aggs, who broke the story yesterday that Jimbo Fisher is out at Texas A&M. We will ask him about the plan over in College Station. But big news shaking out of the SEC West yesterday with Texas A&M opening up their head football coaching spot. Elijah Robinson, the defensive line coach, is the interim over the next couple of weeks. Lloyd is here on this Monday morning. Stewie is here on this Monday morning. The boys sound like they had a fantastic weekend.
Put the band back together.
And Tigerland.
The weekend was great.
Yes.
Shout out to Lloyd.
Yes.
Lock the gates. Don't let us in.
Got to get this man a wheelbarrow.
How was the atmosphere on Saturday?
It was good until it wasn't. See,
Yeah.
a lot of people get mad at the LSU contingency for the crowd thinning out. I draw the line in the sand that the real ones stay, and those are the real ones that are loud. For the LSU Florida game,
Yeah.
like if you looked around the crowd, there was crowd shots of it being like, look how many people aren't here. The people that stay are the people that make the noise, and you needed all of it because Jaden Daniels deserves all the support that he's getting right now, and it finally hit the national scene.
Yeah.
It all of the news on Twitter Sunday was JadenDaniels.com. And it feels like the Heisman run is officially upon us, folks.
Stewie, if you could, I just texted you Billy Lucci's.
Yeah, give it out.
Billy Lucci's email. And also, when you have a
Johnny
moment,
Manziel2 at gmail.com.
when you have a moment, pull up Cody Worsham's Twitter account. Cody's got a great tweet about the amount
searches
of attention that Jayden Daniels for Heisman got following the game on Saturday night.
The power.
And it was, it was nearly triple the amount of anyone else in college football. Jayden Daniels and this Heisman push is without question underway, and the national media has caught on, and they've caught on for good reason, because on Saturday night, Jayden Daniels did something that had never been done before in college football. Not in the SEC, not at LSU, not in a game versus Florida, not in a particular season. In the history of college football, Jayden Daniels set a record that had never been done. First off, he accounted for 606 total yards of offense, 5 touchdowns, and became the first quarterback in FBS history to have at least 350 yards passing and 200 yards rushing in the same game as LSU beat Florida 52-35 on Saturday night. The highlights that Jayden Daniels put down on Saturday, again, we're at a wedding, right? And we're watching this thing and was able to go back and watch the thing.
How big is your iPhone?
It was, but as
Move over a little
he's
bit. I'm trying to see the
sprinting
game.
down the sideline on the 85-yarder, the way he is running past defenders is so running back-esque. Fournette, Falk, Geis, Ali Broussard, guys that you would just see take off and could bust them from, that is hard to do. Usually you just run out of gas. Your stamina lets you down. You just can't, you can't go anymore. He is gliding on the field. It's almost as if he's getting faster the further away from the line of scrimmage he gets. There was one in the first half where he busts one of the long ones where he doesn't score, where he hops out of bounds and his footwork is so beautiful.
Coach, when
he's like a ballerina where he just kind of makes a move and just kind of hops off 2 feet. It is as if he is playing and toying
by himself
with Division I college football players. And the most impressive part about Saturday night, and the reason why I believe that moment is the Heisman moment that is going to push him over the top, because I think on Saturday night, not only did he become like an invitee, he became the front runner. He became the guy. He became the dude. Listening to shows already this morning, people are all over the country are talking about Jayden Daniels and just how big his performance was on Saturday night. And I think people are now starting to dive into the numbers of the history of his performances this year. And you're like, whoa, this guy, he's been the best player on the field every single week.
Remember when they tried to say Jordan Travis was better than him?
Oh, gosh.
They watched that. I don't even know what that was Saturday, but that was not good.
But the part that was most impressive that I believe is going to live on, and why this moment pushes him to a spot that you got to catch him now. Not only is this performance something that has never been done in the history of college football, but he did it on a stage that they needed every single point and every single yard, and it was against a conference opponent in a game that was competitive. After LSU trails 28-24 in that game, they go 4 straight touchdown drives, all of them led by Jayden Daniels. They get to 2 third downs.
They had 1 third down in the second half.
That is unreal.
They were like 4 for 6 on third down. Brian Kelly said something about that in the presser. It was just like, I mean, we didn't have many third downs. It's just score it or get the first down on first down.
And I know this is the time to give Jaden Daniels his flowers, but what I was most impressed with was whenever he got kind of banged up into the Florida bench, Emory Jones came.
Yeah.
Like we ain't getting
they
bullied.
learned
Florida
that.
tried to bully them. They tried because it was a close game. Like it was a game for a little bit, 17-14. Yes. But it became y'all aren't doing this in Tiger Stadium to LSU on our field. That ain't happening anymore. So you saw a little bit of that dog come out in LSU, which we've been waiting for. If you've been just watching LSU football, like, okay, we'll toe the line, we'll toe the line, we'll toe the line. Finally, it was like, not this team. They ain't go, Billy, you ain't coming here and doing that to us. And finally, you saw Emory Jones in there, and he looked like he could have took on the whole bench.
Yeah, he wanted
to.
And
he wanted to. And it got chippy early. And it was one of those things that you kind of saw against Florida State, and you saw
LSU back down a little bit.
Right, where it was, do they know that y'all are getting pushed around a little bit? Like, let it out the cage, coach.
I mean,
and they finally did where it was, we got a little toughness to us. Our skin's pretty thick.
Dog of the week, Josh Williams.
Good. That's another play.
Josh Williams.
Let him hear about it.
And that kid was a 5-star. That linebacker was a 5-star.
15 was talking the most trash before the game. Like they were in each other's face, and he was pointing back and forth. I mean,
that meant Daniels,
they both let him know.
Even talked a little trash to him. I mean, Daniels. I mean, Will Campbell said it right here. He was like, "You don't say anything during the game." He said people constantly trying to get in his head. You know what I mean? He just.
Josh Williams tagged that man in the tweet.
You had to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that is.
You got to post that.
That's one of the finest LSU highlights I've ever seen.
He gave everything for that.
I mean, like that.
Cool.
He stood that dude straight up and knocked him on
Cole
his
Kublik
ass.
on the broadcast said we call that a decleater, and that's.
It looked like Maurice Jones-Drew.
It was like the Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah,
hit.
took that man's soul.
I mean,
and then let him know about it. Like, you ain't going to heaven,
didn't
coach.
Even look at him when he was talking
No.
trash.
He looked straight at the sideline.
He was walking straight to the sideline.
I'm trying to get over there.
And look, that wasn't his only one of the night.
No, he had a couple.
Williams had a couple where he stones people.
Oh, the safety blitz one time, and he just.
And Jaden Daniels steps up, scrambles out.
That was a 51-yard run.
That was a 51-yard.
And then Josh Williams is running with him, blocking downfield.
I mean, man, I'm telling you, Williams he's a pro.
Yeah. Oh,
he's
for
a
sure.
Caskey called it last year. Oh, speaking of Caskey's clicker, 3:30 today.
That's right.
Yes.
So we'll put it on the ticker. But
yeah,
we're going a little early today. But Caskey's been screaming for Williams. And if you want to talk about him being a pro, he hadn't said a word about like the lack of playing time. Only got his carries, and every time he's in the game, he makes an impact.
I loved Brian Kelly's press conference on Saturday. Do we have all these sound bites? I mean, we can listen to them, but I mean, just some reaction to it. I was glad the way that he look. I mean, we could do. You could talk all day about Jayden Daniels. Really, I mean, we could just keep this podcast from 7 to 9 a.m. and we could do it all about Jayden Daniels.
I ain't out of flowers.
How good he is, right? And for Brian Kelly to take the opportunity and point out, like Noah Kane and Josh Williams and guys that, just epitome of team, right? Like, I mean, really what makes teams good, what makes teams great are guys that can buy in, that not necessarily are a part of every single Saturday and every single play, but when it's time, they're prepared. And Kane caught a touchdown pass on Saturday. Williams had a touchdown catch. He had a touchdown. Did he? He had the first.
He ran a touchdown and he had that big long run, a long catch.
Right.
From.
John Emery's about to cook.
Don't hurt me right now.
That
Man.
was
I'm in a good mood.
Man, it's a
My man
beautiful
just-
move.
It
at
was
the
a
line.
beautiful
Oh,
move.
my
There was
goodness.
he just did one too many beautiful
Yeah.
moves.
Way too many.
ACL wasn't ACLing. But it was.
jeez.
You could tell he was about to get going. He scored a touchdown last year against Florida.
He likes playing against
I mean,
Florida.
the move at the line.
Oh my
Perfect.
God!
was just.
That was vintage John
I
Emery.
mean, that was high school John Emery.
God, he looked good. But hopefully he's okay. But it didn't. I mean, that was tough.
No, it was
able
not
to
good.
like kind of walk off under his own power. But it just
you could tell what
the credit to him to just get off the field was even that. But
And-
hey, if it's a career, I mean, if it's a season ender, That's medical red shirt. Come on back, John. Let's do it a 6
Look,
year.
let's do it
It's
a
going to be a
6
doctor.
year, John.
Would it be 6 or 7?
I think COVID
He got
year.
here in 19.
No, I think this would be his 7th. if
Got
he
here
came
in
back.
19. It would be 2024. So it is 7 years. My math might be off. I don't know.
Andre
Definitely.
Sam, you
Terrible.
talked to him about that.
Oh, goodness.
Who's also America's Most Wanted, apparently.
Yeah.
I thought this was Brian Kelly's best response
Oh.
in the press conference, Stewie. This is 5. Kelly post-game being asked about Andre Sam and the targeting call, which he was ejected from the game on Saturday.
I figured that was going to come up. I needed to take a little bit more time to make sure that I was articulating this the right way. I just think that we're in a bad position in college football as it relates to targeting. And I brought this up when we had the transmitter in the helmet. I had been pounding that table for the transmitter in the helmet for about 3 years, and it's fallen on deaf ears until all of a sudden there seems to be this sign stealing, epidemic, and now everybody wants to put the radio piece in the helmets. Well, we're going to get to that with targeting as well. When you have a situation like we did, where Jaden Daniels gets hit underneath the chin, driven to the ground, and is concussed, and it doesn't get reviewed, and then we have a play like tonight, which was a normal football play where a running back is lowering his shoulder, and we are trying to make a tackle. We're not targeting. We're not trying to lead with the helmet. We're just trying to make a tackle. We throw a kid out of the game. That is tragic. We're in a bad place right now. And we need to stop and figure this out. Because there's a lot of words I could use, but it's tragic that we threw a kid out of a game because he was trying to play football. And whatever semantics, there's going to be a great explanation about this. Oh, he used the crown of his helmet, or he did this, or he did that. He was playing football. Last week, that guy that hit Jaden Daniels was trying to knock him out. You can say whatever you want, but that's what he was trying to do. Our guy was trying to make a tackle. So everybody's smart enough to figure that out. But we have 2 different outcomes. We got to figure it out.
And what were your thoughts on Ryan Yates and Jordan Allen when they came to replace Andre?
They, they did a pretty good job. I mean, we should have cut one post off, but I thought, Jordan got a little bit more work. I don't know that he got a lot. I think the one thing that disappointed me a little bit with the young guys is they got a tackle, and I'm not going to let up on that with them. I mean, when you go out there, I don't care if you run 4.2, 4.3, I don't care if you got 6 stars or 18 stars, you better darn tackle. And we got to tackle when we're out there. And it's not even an art. It's a want to, and we got to tackle better.
That was a great answer.
Couple of great answers. I mean, really.
Because that targeting call was.
I mean, Andre Sam's just playing football. Like you can't say it any other way than that.
My man then he didn't even make the tackle.
Whenever I saw the flag come out in the review, there was a part of my brain that was like,
they're about to kick him out the game. I knew they were.
That's what I knew was going to happen, but I thought it was like, dude, are they finally going to call targeting on the offense? Because that man lowered his head into Andre Sam.
I thought that was exactly what they were going to call. I thought they were going to call.
I mean, I know better.
The running back.
I know better than to think that.
Come on now.
But
Andre Sam went backwards.
He didn't make the tackle, Coach. He did not make the tackle.
He just put himself in harm's way. And you're just. And I was looking at I had to go through the game book to be like, who's 6?
Yeah.
I hadn't
Jordan
seen him.
Allen.
I know it, but I was like, I don't know who they have left.
Lafayette's finest, Coach.
LCA?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. The portal.
Yeah.
That's the one.
So, look, I mean, they got a big problem on their hands on targeting. They just don't know what it is. It's like a catch. It's like a catch in the NFL. They don't know how to define
Ball
it.
looked like it came out. I don't know.
Right. I mean, it's
bunch of old dudes just in a huddle talking about.
I need to catch my breath. I've been following Jayden Daniels down the sidelines for 85 yards. Like, we got to call it targeting here, Coach. I'm tired.
I need a breather.
I need a break.
It's a shame for Andre Sam, though.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he
get your money's worth.
does not deserve to come off the field. And I love Brian Kelly calling out last week because last week was what it was. I mean, let me say this about Dallas Turner. I mean, it probably is, kind of like a dirty play in today's football, but the mentality of what and how he plays with, I hope the Saints draft him. You know what I mean? That's what football is. I mean, the way that he plays. But in today's rules, looking at last week and looking at what you saw Saturday, how in the world
are those two?
That should be the scale. Like, that should be the spectrum.
Let's put this all on
right.
video.
Like, I mean,
that's the teaching tape of what is and what isn't.
Exactly. I mean, that
which one got called?
That has to be the off-season course. Like, look, which one of these two do you think is targeting?
You'd be wrong.
I mean, you would be.
I'd probably be wrong 10 out of 10 times.
I would think if you showed that to someone that doesn't watch football, didn't see those two plays, and you say, which one looks the most like targeting?
Got to be the Alabama one.
It's got to. Right. I mean,
that's the one that Rich Eisen voices when they send out in the NFL. They're like, you can't rough the quarterback. This is what it looks like. Nope. Actually,
I mean,
it's you getting bodied.
If Dallas Turner did that in the NFL, you'd be looking at a $60,000 fine.
Oh, that's a game check.
Oh man, he's out of game check for sure.
Like, they might have kicked him out of the game for something like that.
I mean, he hits with the crown of his helmet on the kid's chin.
Yeah,
and drives him into the ground.
Think about him doing that to
which
Joe
part
Burrow.
did we miss? Like, where did he not break the rule?
Tried to break that man's jaw,
right?
And he landed on top of him with force. Like, all of the rules, like everything that checks every box for targeting would have been that. And that's where, again, you have to give credit to Five. We don't talk about his toughness enough, man.
Oh, man.
To come back and
tough.
we didn't know what he was going to do. He could have easily been like, we're good. Like, I don't have to play this week. Nussmeier's getting some run, whatever. Jayden was like, nah, this is my chance to have and then to do something that's never been done in college football.
Started off kind of like a little bit, and then he just
missed a couple throws.
Yeah,
but you know what? Like, after watching him now for 20 plus games, that's who he is.
Yeah, he just starts a little slow.
He's kind of
He
like
feels the
that
game
California cool. You know
Yeah,
what I
laid
mean?
back
Like,
right now, Coach.
I'm here, but I'm not here yet. Let me get a drink, scope
on.
the scene. I'll let y'all know.
Yeah.
Let me holler at Coach in the booth real quick.
I don't have to see the opener, Coach. I'm trying to see the band.
That's right. I mean, I'll be there. Don't worry. I'll be there. When it's time, I'll be there.
Let booby spin.
Yeah.
Remember, we're brought to you by Katie's. Katie's Restaurant, located on Iberville Street down in New Orleans. Get in touch with our friends online at katiesinmidcity.com. New Orleans' favorite cold beer, great service, and new Sunday hours, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. If you want to check out NFL games, you can always do that over at Katie's and depend on the great service and people over there. Go check them out, katiesinmidcity.com, and located on Iberville Street, right in the heart of New Orleans. They got a sister restaurant in Francesca's, which is over in Lakeview. All of the info online at katiesinmidcity.com, katiesinmidcity.com.
Place was probably on tilt last night or yesterday after Jameis got in.
Oh God.
Jameis.
Jameis is like
Jameis.
He is such a roller coaster.
I mean, even that
experience.
touchdown
My
pass.
heart. After
I mean, he throws it across the field.
he set his feet though.
I did. I mean, like, he baseball threw that thing. That was like a center field, off the wall, home plate.
No.
Like, just ring it, bro.
You couldn't let Jameis see something that he wanted more. He's like, oh, this is my time to shine, baby. Nobody's going to make this throw but me. I thought it was going 99 the other way.
Everybody. I mean, it's just like
But he put it on a
leg in the air, like, whoa! Yeah, right. Yeah!
And we're going to get the 2-point conversion.
Jameis is like,
I mean,
his
and then
experience
just
is
misses, and then throws into triple coverage at the end
pick.
of the game.
Let me get a
but
pick.
And then
Close.
gets to the sideline. As soon as the camera sees him, he takes his helmet off and he goes, "My fault."
My bad, dog.
Oh yeah, you don't say, huh?
But we almost came back.
Jameis is the big, my bad, dog.
Yeah,
type of
no
dude.
doubt.
Like,
That's
just,
my fault.
My
That's my
fault,
fault.
Coach.
That's my fault.
That's on me. My bad.
And he'll take, like, he was taking the blame whenever it wasn't his fault. Like, Chris Olave didn't catch one, and he was like, oh, that's on me. I threw it a little late. And then he goes, rolls left, sets his feet, sees somebody. I mean, he was wide.
Yeah, he was.
But he was like, I'm about to have to let this thing rip, coach.
Oh, man.
And he let it
ripped
go.
That thing. He ripped
And it was a
great
dot.
catch.
Yeah, and it was
a great catch.
That game was about, they had the Saints at plus 18.5 after Derek Carr got hurt. And I was like, I don't know about the Jameis Winston experience here. We're going to put some points up. I don't know if they're going to win, but if you spot him 18.5, he's Paul Crewe.
Saints are bad.
So I was about to say, do the Saints like kind of cut ties with Derek Carr after this? Because I mean,
I don't know what the contract status is on that. I mean, they gave him so much.
Yeah, you
money.
can't.
did, but it's like, I mean, you look at every game he's played. It's either really bad on offense.
It's just pretty predictable. On Carr. I mean, it really was. I mean,
and Dennis Allen.
I mean, it is.
Look at his career in
right. I mean,
Las
he had
Vegas
9 years of data
Oakland.
in Vegas and Oakland of him just being so mediocre.
mean, he
and
had
I know he got hit yesterday.
He had Devontae Adams. And he had Devontae Adams in Vegas. Like,
Right.
Wait, how did Michael Thomas get to dress
Yeah, I don't.
and play?
I didn't
Threw a brick through that
understand
man's
what was going on. I mean, but speaking of receivers, I wanted to point out, and while we were talking about LSU, and obviously Jaden Daniels deserves so much attention, and he will be talked about. I think he's in the Heisman spotlight. He'll be in New York. The way that the voting goes now, if this changed in 2021, is just where they bring in the top 4 vote getters. So the field is 4, and it's going to be 4. In years past, before 2021, sometimes they would have 3, sometimes we had 5. You'd have 5, and it was all because of like how close the voting was. If there was a certain margin that the voting was in within the top 5 spaces, well, they would bring the top 5 players that were in that number. If there was 4 and 5 that were so far off, they just bring 3. But now the rule has changed in 2021 where they bring the top 4 vote getters. I am confident that Jayden Daniels will be in that number at least. And as we sit here on this Monday morning, I believe he is the front runner. I believe he is the guy to beat because, if you're an honest college football fan, you look around, and we'll ask Billy Luchi this because Luchi he's a great resource for this. This guy watches a ton of college football. He's invested into one team that's not LSU. He would give you Texas A&M, the team he covers, does not have anyone that fits the criteria of a Heisman Trophy candidate. So he's not going to give you one of his own. He's going to tell you after watching 10 weeks of college football who he believes to be the best player. And I think, obviously, there is bias here. Obviously, there is looking through a pretty focused lens of just watching LSU play predominantly of the season, but looking around and watching a ton of college football, that Jayden Daniels is the best player on the field each and every week. He affects the game more than any particular player consistently does week in, week out in the sport. And I think for as much as we talk about the schedule and the outcomes and the defense, the things that he can't control, I think now you've got a couple of pieces of data that you can look at to support that criteria. You can support that prompt if that is in fact a part of what it takes to win the award. Take Jayden Daniels off of the field like you did in Tuscaloosa. What happened?
That's the biggest case for him.
Offense falls apart. In the 3 losses that LSU has suffered, if you look at his play, he has played at a high level for the entire part of the game. In fact, if you go to the Ole Miss game, his margin for error, his inability to be able to make a mistake has to come into play because you've got at Ole Miss, the fumble in the first half is the play of the game.
First quarter, I think that was, right?
It was the second drive. And he goes on to throw for 500 yards, his typical game. but his margin for error, and that's every single week the pressure that he has to play with, and has continued to do it. One thing that we don't talk about enough is his toughness. He didn't practice on Tuesday, goes through the mental reps on Wednesday, gets out there, practices in the middle of the week, gets his preparation in, goes out on Saturday and sets an FBS college football record and does something that never has been done in the sport, in the history of it.
The one thing that you didn't think he was going to be able to do, or I'd imagine the coaching staff probably didn't want him to do, was run the football. I think he took off, 12 times, only had 12 carries, not very many designed runs. He was given a lot on those, I could call it a quarterback choice, RPO, whatever you want to call it, but he wasn't keeping a lot of those. But when push came to shove and he saw the defense, he tucked tail, and he just runs like a bad kid that has scissors in the house. Like, don't touch me, don't get me. He just keeps going where you can't catch him. And I don't think LSU expected him, or the coaching staff probably didn't want him to run that much, but the man's a gamer.
Yeah. He is.
And you need all of it. Caleb Jackson, punted it to Florida, just kicked it right back to him.
He is the best player in college football. I mean, look, I watched Michael Penix on Saturday. He had a good game. He had another good game. I think he threw for over 300 yards, 2 scores, no picks, ran for a touchdown. Bo Nix played well on Saturday for Oregon.
He played against LSU's defense. Threw for 412 and 4 touchdowns against USC.
Did what he had to do against a bad defense, right?
Right.
You know,
and they won by 9.
He went out there and performed. And I loved Brian Kelly's answer on, look, if it's a popularity contest, it might not be Jayden Daniels, but it might be. You know, I think that Jayden Daniels might be surging in the popularity award as well. His performance on Saturday night's got a lot of people being like, oh, wow.
Jayden Daniels can play football, huh?
I mean, he's doing stuff that has never been done. I mean, in football, when you do stuff that's never been done in the history of the sport, you've been playing for a long time.
But and it makes it easy to talk about, right? You know, when there's something that it sets a precedent for, okay, we can't ignore this now. Yeah, whenever you go for over 600 yards, right? I mean, you're playing NCAA on easy mode, easy play, where it's like, what can he do?
And you still got people clamoring for Marvin Harrison Jr. to win the Heisman.
That's the other thing. On social media is insane.
And like J.J. McCarthy?
Coach, Michigan ran the ball 32 straight times to finish the game Saturday.
Did you see the running back after the game?
He looked like he had blood all over his face.
Brian Kelly had a great answer. This is 9 of him talking about what the Heisman, what is it? You know, I mean, if it's one thing, he might not be the winner. But if it goes to the best player in college football, he's the clear-cut favorite right now.
If he didn't win it tonight, he's got to be the leading candidate, because what he did tonight, unless the Heisman is just about popularity, if you want to be the most popular, then fine. But he's the best player in college football. He did something tonight that no one's ever done. So if that doesn't make you the leading candidate, then maybe the Heisman is not really for the best player. Maybe it's for the most popular player.
It's a great answer. I mean, because in reality, I mean, if it goes to the best player, look at this guy's body of work. It speaks for itself. You really don't have to pound the podium for him anymore. I really don't. I mean, if you have a vote, you have a responsibility to educate yourself every single Saturday on who the biggest playmakers in the sport are, who the best players are. Every single week, Jayden Daniels is the best player on the field. Marvin Harrison might be the most talented player on the field every single week. He's still not the best player on the field every week. He doesn't affect the game every single week like Jayden Daniels does. He's not supposed to. He doesn't touch the ball every play. Daniels does.
And that's where the Heisman has become a de facto quarterback award, right? Like you've seen it, Devontae
the last Derrick Henry?
Yeah, those are the two.
Yeah.
That it's not, and for this year, it feels like every player in the country that was up for the Heisman was probably going to be a quarterback because there's so many good ones, right? But the narrative that's been spun or continues to be weaved is you look at, like I said, you look at social media and you see 3 losses, 3 losses, 3 losses. Yeah, it's 3 losses all in road games to top 10 teams in the country.
Yeah, and like when did
did he play bad?
When did
you want to play safety?
When did it become this? I really.
Never. This year.
RG3?
3 losses.
3 losses.
Tebow.
Caleb Williams.
Lamar Jackson.
I mean, just
And LSU completely embarrassed Lamar Jackson after he won the Heisman.
Yeah, no. He didn't know
And
that
Caleb Williams
And I
lost to
was fine
Tulane.
with Lamar Jackson winning the Heisman.
He was the
Me
best
too.
player of the
He
country.
was the best player.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me the team's success. I mean,
Johnny Manziel 2 losses, which
So-
Luchi will probably give some sort of credence to this of how it weighs on the Libra scale, where you're like, at what point does it become obvious? Like, obviously, it's not. It feels like sometimes whenever it's that if you're not in the national championship conversation, it becomes like has to be a story that you've never seen before. Like Johnny Manziel was a
freshman.
something that you've never seen before. Tim Tebow was the first one to win it as a sophomore since the first one ever.
Yeah.
And so it has to be something like that. Lamar Jackson was almost too good to ignore. He loses that game to Clemson against Deshaun Watson, where it was an absolute shootout. And so it's those games. But at this point, what are we really doing? Nobody else is playing well enough or playing as well as Jayden Daniels is playing.
Period. I
Period.
mean, like he's the best player
Full
in the sport.
stop.
It says that the Heisman goes to the best player in college football. Don't ever think it. Give it to the best player. I mean, but I wanted to talk as well about around Daniels, and this has been the difference of Jayden Daniels, right? And we've talked about the progression, we've talked about the development. Joe Sloan, Mike Denbrock, offensive staff deserve a ton of credit to continue to be able to develop a player like Daniels, not only with the amount of film that is out on Daniels, but he's a senior. I mean, he's deep into his career and he's still improving. You can see the marketable improvement that is being made throughout this guy's time at LSU. I mean, it is a great sales pitch for Sloan, for Denbrock, for Kelly. I think that there's an emphasis now on Kelly and the staff to get him the Heisman. I mean, this is a great recruiting pitch. You go to Bryce Underwood, go sit in his living room before this January 6th announcement, and you got a Heisman in your back pocket to take in there for your quarterback, along with this world-breaking, world-setting offense. I mean, like that's a tough pitch to say no to, right? So I think that there is an emphasis for Kelly and his staff to go after this award. Right, I think that you pad the hell out of the stats this weekend against a team like Georgia Southern, and then we'll get to Texas A&M here in a minute. But I want to talk real quick about Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. Right, I mean we did talk about the guys like Josh Williams and Noah Cain and John Emery. Caleb Jackson had his first rushing touchdown, or he had a rushing touchdown on Saturday night. But Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors. First off, I think Neighbors. He deserves to absolutely be one of the finalists.
Shit,
the
he
three
might be in
finalists.
New York.
He could be. I mean, for as good as he is, you talk about the amount of film out on somebody. It's one thing to have film out on a quarterback, right? Like there's things that a quarterback can do, and things that Jayden Daniels. Again, you could steal signs. You can watch as much film as you want. You can be as prepared as you want. There's just things that Daniels can do that you just can't defend. Right? And a lot of the indefensible things of Daniels are because you have to pay so much attention to the guys around him, specifically Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors. And another week goes by where these two just come in and from a stat standpoint, dominate the game. Thomas, 8 targets, 6 catches, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He also had one of those would be deemed a catch, but it's a kind of an end around
Pop pass.
catch. Malik Neighbors targeted 9 times, 6 catches, 132 on the night as well. I mean, it is tough to explain how good of wide receiver play LSU has seen over the last decade plus, but specifically this year, these two and how they play together in this offensive system. I mean, there are defenses you saw last week. I mean, the best in the game. He tried to take those two out of it. He tried to take Brian Thomas out of it. He tried to take away one of Daniels' security blankets, one of the guys that he knows that he can't outthrow, and these guys catch everything. It's such a big story when they drop. That's like last week when the ball was hitting the turf a little bit. You were wondering, like, what's the deal, man? These guys, it's very rare for them to drop the ball. But how good Thomas and Neighbors and the pressure, obviously, that they take off of Daniels and the just the cohesive chemistry that they play together with. This is all the stuff that, going into the season, you knew LSU was going to have its access to, but to see how good these guys play together is unreal, to see the efficiency of this offense. I mean, the way that they played after going down 28-24 felt like a video game. It felt like backyard football. It felt like you're almost toying with the defense. They could do anything they wanted to do, from a quarterback, wide receiver, throwing the ball, running the ball from that position, because the rush game without Logan Diggs is, complimentary. It's not. It does take a little bit away from the firepower. Not much, but a little bit of the firepower that LSU can.
Thought you were Matt McMahon over there banging on the table.
But it takes a little bit out of the tank for LSU with Diggs out, and the pressure that those guys have to perform under, and what they do every week is, it really is. It's incredible to watch that. You're this deep into the schedule and they're still playing at that high of a level after everybody in the building knows where the ball is going. I mean, everybody knows that those guys are going to get, would they get 18 targets on Saturday night collectively? So 20 targets average per week, and they still blow up every Saturday.
17 combined targets. Brian Thomas went for 8 targets, 6 catches, 152 touchdowns, long of 52. Malik, 6 catches on 9 targets, 132 with a long of 44. And then you had the Josh Williams, one catch, 45 yards. Chris Hilton, 2 for 3 for 21 yards.
It's nice to see Chris Hilton getting involved again.
It is.
Mason Taylor, 1 for 18. But what I was more impressed with was the efficiency of the offense, man. Like, when you go through the possession chart, LSU, whether they needed to or not, like whenever they needed to score, they scored a touchdown in 13 seconds. They scored a touchdown in 1 minute and 7 seconds, 2 minutes. Their longest drive was 4 minutes and 30 seconds. That was the fourth down that they didn't convert. And then a 4-minute drive to salt the game away with a touchdown.
Yeah, the second drive of the game was kind of weird.
Yeah, it was.
Getting in the red zone and you try to run the ball 3 straight times.
That's when it got real chippy, too. Like, you're trying to kind of steal. Florida was giving everything they got.
Yeah, and I think Brian Kelly was trying to, establish a little dominance, early in the game instead of doing it later in the game. And they just couldn't get pushed.
You couldn't move.
Yeah.
I got no notes on the LSU offense.
Jayden Daniels got sacked 4 times Saturday night.
And they tried to pick him up again.
Right?
They did pick him up again.
Fine. Take him to New York.
But, there was some adversity, from an offensive standpoint.
Oh, Florida wanted that one bad.
Sure. Absolutely.
Because, they're at a crossroads where people are upset with how the LSU football season's going.
Look at Florida.
Look at A&M. Look at everywhere around the conference. This is not an easy league to win in. And you're in year 2 where you're staring down the barrel of another 10-win season, and your defense is historically bad. Granted, you can weigh it the other way where it feels like you wasted maybe a season with a great offense, but it kept you in the game. You've still found a way to compete regardless of how bad your defense is.
Yeah, I think the defense, look.
It is what it is.
Right. It's if they can perform like they did on Saturday, all right. They can get
how
off the field a couple of times. They can get off the field.
They were good early.
They were. And that's all it really takes.
Yeah, LSU had 4 sacks Saturday too.
With
Jayden Daniels only had 2. They only sacked Jayden Daniels twice. LSU had 4.
Womack was out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was.
He was dragging Jacoby and Guillory off the field.
Jacoby and Guillory.
Jacoby and Guillory probably played his best game in his career.
He did. You got to give him an Oscar for the way he came off the field, I think.
That was awesome. Hey, Alexandria's finest, coach. We know how to act.
That was a great act.
Stewie saw it after the game.
Best actor I've ever met is Lloyd.
Remember, we're brought to you daily by Go Roof. Online at GEAUXRoof.com, 225-927-8300. Roof's up with our friends over at Go Roof. You get a 2-year free workmanship guarantee when you work with our friends over at Go Roof. That's on all new installations. Competitive pricing Free quotes, free roof inspection. So if you call somebody today, the boys will be up on the roof diagnosing the problem, letting you know what you got going on with your roof, and if you need a new one installed. If you do, they'll work directly with the insurance company, take all that headache out of it for you. Online, GEAUXroof.com. They've been in business for over 15 years. They're licensed and insured. They can help you with residential roofing, commercial roofing, or if you just need roof repairs. Online, GEAUXroof.com, GEAUXroof.com, or call them 225-927-8300 is the phone number over at Go Roof. A beautiful roof every single time with our friends over at Go Roof.
I'm just rewatching the game, and when Perk got the sack, the lineman picks it up and tosses it to the receiver.
Oh, that was an unbelievable play.
Like, my man was trying to make a play. Playing option football.
I had no idea what was going on because I thought he was down, and then the play's still going on, and the whole crowd was – because you're just hoping for an LSU defensive stop. At some point, like, oh, no, this can't happen also. And it was just that was a wild turn of events where it's like, oh, this man just pitched it back.
Yep, next play.
It looked like Cal Stanford.
Jaden Daniels goes 81, 85. And he looks so fast.
Oh, my God. When he was running down the sidelines, Coach, I mean,
I knew they weren't going to catch him.
No way.
When he hit the corner, I was like, they ain't catching him.
He's turning back and laughing at him.
I mean,
14 from Florida gave the best effort he could on the dive. I just want to get some.
He could barely tripped him. I mean, not only did he go 85, he went 85 and didn't get touched. I mean, that is a SEC football field. I don't care how down Florida is, how down whatever. That is a SEC Division I college football field, and you go 85 yards and don't get touched, you're better than everybody out there.
Yep.
I mean, like, you're the best player on the field. That just doesn't happen. I mean, you rarely see that happen, and he made it look really easy on Saturday. So the other big stories this weekend is they handed out the punishment for Michigan over the weekend. That started on Friday. The stuff with Harbaugh. He suspended the final 3 games of the regular season. Looks like they're going to abide. They took him off the plane in Happy Valley on Saturday.
Trying to get a court date on Saturday morning.
Trying to get a court date with a couple of Michigan judges.
One
of them that needs re-election. I mean, like, the story's unbelievable. And I will say this, one thing about the SEC, and Mike's Live and Greg Sankey deserve a ton of credit on this, because you see how ugly this stuff can get if it plays out in the public, right? And the Big Ten, for whatever reason, has done a terrible job of keeping their dirty laundry like off the streets, like keeping that stuff behind closed doors, because every conference deals with this stuff. I mean, the only glimpse we saw of any of this was Jimbo calling out Saban in the middle of like some like recruiting booster, get together.
Oh, whenever they couldn't figure out NIL.
And Greg Sankey put a cap on that night. Like, there was no more back and forth. It was all handled in Destin. It was all handled behind closed doors. It was all under, the guidelines of the conference. Because, I mean, like, this stuff with the Big Ten, it's
playing out in public.
I mean, right. Like, I mean, could you imagine if the Big Ten on a Friday night removed Nick Saban
from the plane,
from the game on a Saturday, like a big game? I mean, Michigan Penn State is a huge game on paper. Could you imagine if they would have said Saban Harbaugh is their Saban? I mean, he's their big personality. He's their guy. He's the one that they all promote. He's the one you think Big Ten football, who do you think about?
Harbaugh.
I think Michigan and Harbaugh, right? I don't know. And then Sunday, news broke. Billy Luchi going to stop by here in about 40 minutes. Luchi is going to be here talking about the news story that he broke on Sunday that Texas A&M is set to part ways with Jimbo Fisher and prepared to pay him $75 million to walk, which is just, like monopoly money when you say this stuff out loud. The highest buyout for a college football coach up to this point was $21 million for Gus Malzahn in Auburn.
You think he's on the move?
Malzahn?
Yeah.
I think so. I think a couple of jobs are going to open up now. I wouldn't be surprised if all Arkansas opens up. And if Arkansas does, I think that Malzahn's name is definitely going to pop up there.
Arkansas lost to Auburn.
Bad.
bad, like in ugly fashion.
I mean, the Pittman
I
experiment.
hate to say I told you so.
It's
I've been trying to get
Did
Sam
you bet
Pittman.
on that game?
No, I've been trying to get Sam Pittman fired since he started. I just felt bad for him.
Coacho.com.
Yeah, I've watched that movie before.
they followed the model.
They did the bad model.
Right.
That science doesn't science.
The
Miami
rah,
too?
The rah rah.
Uh-huh.
You know, that's not going to play.
Try to keep your You know how hard it is to keep your coordinators if you have one good year.
Right. By the way, did anybody watch Miami, Florida State?
I watched bits and pieces of it.
I mean, if Florida State wins a national championship and
Nobody's
Mike-
beating Georgia, coach.
but I'm saying if Mike Norvell gets an extension, he should give part of his extension to Keon Coleman.
Oh, for sure.
Because if he doesn't get him, they are in trouble.
But I mean, Georgia flexed again on Saturday and
goodness.
showed like they are the best team in the country. If they're not number one tomorrow night, then they're. I mean, who cares? You know, I mean, like again, it's not that big of a deal. They'll be number one when it matters if they keep playing like they did on Saturday.
Jackson Dart was in
Hell.
Yeah.
Coach, I don't want to go back out.
Yeah.
You got to.
Most impressive part about them was the offense, though, coach. 600 yards total offense.
Yeah.
I mean, they were averaging 10 yards a play.
Brock Bowers still isn't 100%, but he's still better than most at 60.
Did you hear Kirby Smart's message to the agents after the game? People that were telling Brock Bowers he shouldn't play. Yeah, he's probably not going to sign with those guys.
Kirby takes shots across the bow all the time.
Wait, did you hear him on McAfee?
He don't take stuff well.
What was
man.
that Friday?
Uh-huh.
They asked him on McAfee like about other coaches saying that the SEC wasn't strong this year. He's like, well, there's an open invitation. You can call Greg Sankey right now. He'll put you on the schedule.
Yeah, we'll take anybody, but not a lot of people want to be here.
That's right. And I mean, you know, look at the SEC at the end of the year.
Eating off the floor.
Yeah, I mean, it's competing. And look,
McAfee with the shirt.
Ross Bjork and Texas A&M have recognized, and Bjork held a press conference yesterday in College
About that
Station
Russia.
explaining his decision-making on releasing Jimbo Fisher after a 51-14 win. I mean,
You think he was already toast?
They made the decision
He
on
had to be
Thursday.
done.
Yeah.
They made it Thursday at a board meeting.
To let
Is-
Petrino call plays finally?
Is when Bjork is when Bjork said that it went down. So they knew, and I would also say, I don't know if you make this move to get first in line only. I think you make this move with somebody in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like you better have at least gotten to like third base on discussions with somebody that you know.
Oh, we've danced.
Right. Like, I mean, are you interested in this job? Because if it opens up, we're offering it to you. Are you going to accept it? And I think that's the type of confirmation that you need before you make a move like this. And I think some names to watch here. I got a couple off the grid, and I got a couple that make, you know, some sense. I think when you look directly at it, I think Mike Elko is probably the name that makes the most sense. A guy that has called defensive plays. He was a defensive coordinator in College Station. He is now the head coach at Duke. His name is skyrocketing up. Obviously a lot of interest and a lot of names and openings that potentially could be out there. I would watch Mike Elko's name first. Is somebody to look out for. I also say Texas San Antonio's head coach Jeff Traylor is a name that keeps popping up around Texas A&M. And when you talk to people locally over there, he's kind of this high school football legend. Jeff Traylor, he's a guy that knows and understands the climate of Texas football. He's got great relationships with high school coaches, and he's gotten to Texas San Antonio and done a pretty good job in his third season of really kind of keeping that program relevant and recruiting at a high level. I think he's somebody that you may have a name to watch there as far as somebody that could be. I know Lance Leipold keeps coming out at Kansas and saying that he's comfortable and he's happy there. I mean, you know, a job like Texas A&M doesn't open up a lot, and I think his name will get some interest.
None of these names are moving the meter.
The two that I believe do move the meter and that could play off the board, first would be Urban Meyer,
Yes.
and the second would be
Dan
Deion.
Lanning. Oh, I was going to say Dan Lanning.
I think Dan Lanning's name will pop up, but I think Oregon is going to.
I mean, they got money.
Lanning is waiting on
I think,
one
Alabama.
job.
I think he's
One
waiting on
job
the
only.
Alabama job. I really do. I think he's going to get the
That-
Alabama
hey,
job.
Hey, I love you. I care about you. That's going to be a long waiting game.
It could be. Yeah, I mean, it could be. But I think that he's at least going to try and watch the first wave crash on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Lance Leopold and who else did you say? UTSA? Like, that guy would go in there and his head would start spinning like The Exorcist. You'd be like, I can't do this. I mean, you're walking into an absolute pressure cooker. It killed Jimbo Fisher. Like, he thought he was safe.
Walking into a buzzsaw.
Yeah, you got to have somebody that, with all that money,
I mean,
they're not going to spare an expense after they just spent $80 million to let Jimbo go to wherever he wants to go. I mean, they're paying him not to coach.
$20 million up front for Jimbo immediately.
Damn.
Then he makes $7.5 million.
I think I need to go coach football.
Seriously, I mean, I told little Jay
and be bad at it,
buddy.
And be horrible at it.
Be a coach, man.
I'd be the worst I could be.
You think how do you think Jimbo woke up today? He's probably like, thank Christ.
Oh, there's
finally. I've been trying to
I
quit.
go to my house down in Florida right now.
Right now.
the world of pressures off of his shoulders.
You probably watched James and like, hell yeah, that's what it looks like.
$75 million to go away, to leave.
I really don't like you.
We don't want you to stay. You're no good at your job. Here, take this and get out of here.
It's insane.
No problem.
Yes.
All right.
I mean, Coach O was
You guys direct deposit, huh?
Coach O was just
Have you
screaming
seen
into
the memes?
ether.
Have you seen the memes of Jimbo and Ogeron at the Floribama?
Oh, God. No.
Celebrating,
No.
doing like line dances and.
I didn't know where you were going.
I mean,
Yeah,
right.
bitch,
Hey, Jimbo, I got that for you, boy.
I'll pay $100. Watch his parents sing. I mean, they're going to be burning money.
And then, like, people like that don't believe that Deion Sanders makes sense at Texas A&M. I just don't understand that logic. I really don't. First off,
He's coached in Texas.
Deion, he lives in Texas. I mean, that's where he is set up his off-season residence. He is, by nature, a really kind of like a country dude. He lives on like a lake and fishes all day. I mean, he's got no problem with the slow lifestyle of Texas. And you're giving him the resources and the backing of what Texas A&M
wants to be.
Exactly. I mean, what do you think? He's not going to get players? You don't think he's going to hire the best guys? You don't think that he's going to bring in all this attention, lure, and what recruits are obviously looking for in college football? And look, he's done an incredible job at Colorado in bringing that interest and intrigue. Is he ever going to be able to get to the top of the mountain at Colorado? No. Right? I mean, who really believes that?
There's one person that can maybe change whatever the culture is, and I say culture with a capital CULT at Texas A&M, it would be Prime, right? Like, he's bigger than the milkmen. Like, he would be like, we ain't doing all that.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I ain't
absolutely.
Or try to make it at least cool.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a bold play,
but it might be the right play.
But it could be a revolutionary play. I mean, like, it could be the spot. I saw where he came out the past week and said that he's not an NFL guy. He wants to coach. He wants to be a head coach. He wants to stay in college football. You know, that's the level that he wants to peak at.
He's a molder of young men's minds.
So that means that he wants to get to the highest level of coaching college football. The SEC, Texas A&M, is the highest level. I think that Texas A&M is a tier 1 job. I think it's a tier 1 job because of its resources, because of the recruiting ground, because of the commitment to win. It's crazy they haven't won. It really is. It's nuts that they have not won at a high level because they have everything you need to succeed. And it's just whether it's been the coach, whether it's been the players, whether it's been the leadership, whatever it has been, they have not been able to get it right. And, you know, here is an opportunity with Ross Bjork, the staff, you know, the boosters, whoever's making this decision, to really set themselves up as this SEC expands. Texas gets back into the league. But I think that, you know, Urban Meyer is a name that you got to watch out for.
Golly.
Right? I mean, I'm sure he wants back in. And, he has proven that whether he's a scumbag or not, the guy can coach college football. And, Texas A&M feels not desperate, but
desperate.
Right. Like, we'll definitely talk to you, Herb.
They're the guy at the casino that cashed in all the chips and we're going back to the table. I may have just gone bankrupt, but I can win money here. And you're like, brother, please don't go.
I got this extra 10K in my back pocket.
Where'd you get that from?
Been having it.
Just in case.
That's the emergency safe right there.
I'm going to put it all on red. Well, it didn't hit last time. Oh, it's got to hit this time.
It's going to hit this time.
It's a 50-50 shot. There's green out there.
So we'll see, man. We'll ask Billy Luchi who we believe the next guy to be.
I don't want them to get Deion Sanders. That would be a disaster.
No, you don't. I
hope they fumble this, man.
I'd even say I don't want him to get Urban Meyer.
I would love to kill Urban Meyer once and for all. Put a stake in his heart.
Second job just became open in the SEC. 9 minutes ago on 3 broke the news. Mississippi State has fired head coach Zach Arnett.
DC.
In Starkville. Could be a prime DC candidate if you're looking for one.
He's flirting with Baton Rouge.
He's had some success calling defenses. He's also interviewed at LSU before for an opening at the defensive coordinator spot. So things start to shake up. You can see that Texas A&M was the first domino that really fell and opened, and now people starting to react around the league of getting in line here to start getting in touch with people of who they want and who they can make this deal. I mean, if you remember, there was a model of the way that Texas did this when they released Charlie Strong. They knew that they had – was it Charlie Strong that they released? That they knew they had Steve Sarkisian lined up.
Well, no, it was the Mensa member.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tom Herman.
Mm-hmm. Todd.
That's right.
Supposed to go to LSU. The ticker said.
Thank God.
Dodged a bullet.
Did you see Brody Miller's tweet?
Yes. About Jimbo?
Tom Herman, Jimbo Fisher, Ed Ogeron.
Only one of them got a natty.
The 3 that everybody was clamoring for, or I guess 2 of them.
2 of the 3.
That everybody was clamoring for.
And you had O. On the way to I'm driving down Ponchatoula right now. What time you call? I'm awake. I'm up.
CCR, Born in the Bayou. Slamming the roof like the dude on Big Lebowski.
No doubt. Fucking death race all the way to Baton Rouge. Yes. I got to fill up. Hey, I'll be right there. I just got to get some more gas in this.
Left lane the whole time. Running up on people, getting them out of the way. Honking the horn.
Death race.
Pumping his left arm out of the window, singing Born in the Bayou.
Come on, baby. Move out of the way.
He's about to get me.
Got a contract to sign.
Y'all heard about
Play it again.
Just one CD. He probably has like the 8-track in the Hummer. Just I got this thing on repeat. I had a day where I knew I was getting this job. Ooh.
Hour 2 will come back with us. Click Here Digital. Remember, Click Here Digital live, our campus over here in Baton Rouge, bringing you our show every single day. We love it over here at Click Here Digital, being a part of the team. They can help you with full digital marketing ads. They can help you with Google ads, with social media ads. If you are looking for some consultation on digital marketing, get in touch with us directly. Online at clickheredigital.com or email me directly, Jordy at clickheredigital.com, Jordy at clickheredigital.com. Back hour 2 after this. If you have not, hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind for us. If you have not subscribed to the channel before you get out of here, if you don't mind right now during this commercial break, just click that subscription button. If you want to know when we do go live, just hit that bell and you'll be notified each time we put some content out. Come back with us, hour 2 next here. Jordy Culotta Show, built by R&B.
I got it's on the blood like traditional sinners. OGs love me, so I hang with traditional winners. I took a break for a minute, I had to go charge up. Had to focus on my business, I'm coming back smarter.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Colada Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
All right, buddy. Make it a good shot.
Oh, yeah.
Sticking the roof in.
For a hole in your roof, for a whole new roof, go roof. Roof, roof, go roof.
Hey, Greg, roof up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Beautiful roof every single time. True. True.
Well, the Ochsner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute collaborative effort was an idea from Dr. Andrews and myself to bring together two great names, the Andrews name and the Ochsner name, to elevate the quality of care for athletes in the state of Louisiana, where he's from.
I always thought I would come back to Louisiana and practice orthopedics with my subspecialty being sports medicine. This was an opportunity through Ochsner's to come back and work the entire state to help develop and take sports medicine to a new level.
As an orthopedic surgeon, what this means in the future in terms of, access for our community to the type of care that Dr. Andrews pioneered, words can't describe how valuable that is.
Ochsner has a great opportunity here to really grow, and Dr. Burnham, of course, is the mainstay of making that happen. If you want to have first-class sports medicine care, check in with Dr. Burnham and his group, and you'll be more than impressed and pleased.
I'm Tom Granick with Go Martin, Wardo's Po' Boys in Natchez, Mississippi. On behalf of the Granick family, we invite you to run, walk, or stroll in the second annual Rudolph Roll. Held on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, this holiday event will kick off at 8 a.m. on December 9th and will include a 10K, 5K, and 1 mile kids fun run. Along with the race, there will be live music, drinks, and of course, Po' Boys. We're looking forward to an even bigger party this year. For more information, please check out the link on Wardo's Facebook page or scan the QR code. Hope to see y'all there.
Heat up DJ, tell him go like I'm dropping the Carter. Coming back like KD, it's time to go harder. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. They say that life's a marathon, man, shout out to Nip. They start to think you falling off and they starting to flip. Circumstances start to change and they jump in the ship.
All right, welcome back here. Jordy Culotta Show, as always, built by our friends over at RMB Builders, live here on our Click Here Digital campus. And we are starting off the second hour. If you don't mind, hit that like button, share button, comment button. We'll talk to Billy Luchi coming up here at 8:30 this morning. Luchi will stop by, and he broke the news yesterday that Jimbo Fisher was out today on Texas A&M actually out on Sunday. Ross Bjork, AD, over in College Station, had a press conference announcing the firing, termination of Jimbo Fisher in the buyout terms. Elijah Robinson, the defensive line coach, is going to be the head coach over there for A&M. So when LSU hosts A&M in a couple of games, in a couple of weeks, Elijah Robinson will be the head coach. And Zach Arnett has been let go at Mississippi State. So we're starting to see a couple of jobs open up around college football, in particular in the SEC West, as both Mississippi State and Texas A&M now open. Zach Arnett, 1 year after not even making it a year.
He didn't even get a fair shake.
Yeah, he didn't get a fair shake after, obviously, the tragic loss of Mike Leach in him passing following last season. Obviously, Mississippi State in a very tough spot, in a very tough predicament. Zach Arnett was the guy in line and the defensive coordinator there that felt like the quick fix for Mississippi State. Turns out that it was not. And with 2 weeks remaining in the regular season, Arnett is out in Starkville, and it'll be interesting to see who could be next at State following up Arnett. But the bigger job and feel like the bigger story in college football as openings are concerned is Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher, and that's what we'll talk about with Billy Luchi coming up here at 8:30.
So weird that they would move on so fast. Like, I mean, it was a quick turnaround situation for him. He really did. I would say they didn't even give him a chance to even recruit his own players.
Oh, he tried to change the offense. It was a lot. That's another thing where you would.
I understand, but like, you got to give a guy a chance to make his own team.
Look, I think Arnett's in a tough spot. I don't know if he went in there even feeling like he was going to get
he wanted to be a head
fair
coach.
shake. Yeah, I mean, it may be an interesting.
Good defensive coordinator. Like, he'll land on his feet.
Oh, without question.
I think he's a really good defensive
I think
coordinator.
without question he'll be a top flight defensive coordinator.
Look at all the Mississippi State defensive players in the league right now.
Absolutely.
That's all because of Derek Arnett.
He definitely will be
Another
the guy.
And another thing I think we'll talk to with Billy, I don't know how much he can touch on it, but that portal's about to be open, Coach. And LSU needs some DBs, and A&M is open. Jacoby keeps making plays.
LSU should be ready to feast in the portal, because this is where you can get guys in conference that can be eligible. On staffs that lose their coach,
you get the waiver.
I mean, there's an exemption on those guys, and you can get them in and get them playing immediately. So, look,
Walter Nolan.
I don't know all of them. I mean, all of them. I don't think that Arnett was the long-term play there. You know, I mean, when he came in and tried to totally 180 the recruiting style, I thought that was a death wish. You know, I mean, I thought that was kind of an indicator that, like, you're not giving yourself a fair chance. You know, I mean, there's not a lot of patience for people to say, okay, you know, we'll wait a couple of years till you can get your players and your offense and everything installed. People, you know, it's a win now deal. If you want to transition out of the spread, maybe you can do that, but it's going to take you about the same amount of time, because you're going to have to, you know, start bringing guys in. But you have what you have on your roster, and you have to run that. I thought that was kind of a, you know, that was a demerit kind of going into Arnett initially in Starkville. But it'll be interesting to see how the Mississippi State job is thought of and gone after, and who the candidates and who the pool will be at that position. So we'll continue to watch that one.
I mean, I'd go Gus.
Call.
Well, I mean,
it's a great call.
Gus could be one, but I mean, if Arkansas opens up,
that's where he's from, right?
Yeah, he's where he's from.
Yeah, I did coach at Arkansas
High school.
State, right?
Right. Yeah, he coached at Arkansas State for in between, I believe, Auburn and Arkansas, and his first time at Auburn and his second time at Auburn.
And it's, between the Gene Chiswick era.
Right.
I mean, he just got exposed after Gus Malzahn left, and he's like, wait, I didn't win this. I think it was Gus.
I need Gus back.
I think I'm gonna go to the booth.
I need that sugar huddle.
Yeah. That man went straight to, I think I'm gonna call some games. Why don't you put me on TV, because I don't know if I can do this. And now is he still at North Carolina? Is he a defensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Wait, who's this?
Gene Chiswick.
Oh, yeah, Gene. Made his way back.
I mean, that was all Gus. And do you think that, what do you do with DJ Durkin? I mean, I'm not trying to stoke the fire on LSU's defensive coordinator job, but I think there's going to be some open slots. LSU's going to have to make a change at some point on the defensive side of the ball. You saw it again. I feel like they played well.
But now, like...
But then it just...
Yeah.
Like, but that was the first time, like, I watched the game with my brother. That was the first time he saw it live, and he hadn't been to Tiger Stadium since last year. And he's like, why is nobody cheers on third down anymore for the defense? And I was like, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean...
like, he's like, what's the ghost town? I was like, we just watch the offense now. He's like, what happened?
People cheer when the offense is on the field, and then when the defense gets out there.
I'm telling you, man, it's
concerning.
People see it. I was in Tuscaloosa at Bryant Denny, and a fan that, you know, again, not obnoxious, not trying to talk trash, not saying anything that was belligerent, just came, we were kind of, Jay was in line, and I was kind of waiting on him to get his, Coke and a hot dog, and I was standing kind of watching the TVs, waiting on him in line, and a guy was standing right there, and I had a piece of LSU gear on, and he was like, hey, man, real question. He was like, I'm not trying to, and he kind of prefaced it with that. I was like, yeah. He was like, what? How is LSU, this bad defensively? And it is fair. I looked at him, I said, man, it's something that we talk about all the time. And it's not, it is difficult to explain how a school so prideful on that side of the ball and has won so many games with that being the face of the program, that they field a defense that is so bad as they are. I mean, it's still after Saturday night's game. Yeah, sure, they did enough, but you have to have you got to have the nation's number one offense on the other side of the ball and the best player in college football to bail you out. The thought of not having Jayden Daniels on LSU's speaking of Mississippi State, that might be who LSU is.
You're not in hot water, Coach. You're in a sous vide. You're just getting cooked.
You're in big trouble. So it takes that type of performance. It takes that type of player. It takes that type of execution that the offense has to cover up just how bad LSU defensively is. And I know this is a dead horse, and I don't mean to keep beating it, but it's tough to fathom and tough to explain.
But if you are LSU and this Texas A&M firing comes at the perfect time, I don't know if you want DJ Durkin. I don't really care about that, but I'm just talking about the amount of. This could be a quick change to be able to finally get recruits on the defensive end, where you can get guys that could kind of fix all your problems a little bit. I know you went to the well once with Denver Harris. I don't know how that's going to shake out, but there's other freshmen there that were LSU targets. LSU was in on that. The NIL became popular so quickly, and it became, I think I have to go to A&M. And it was guys that wanted to come to LSU, and now you'll see if they're able to get them back in the boat, because there's no other way to fix this defensive backfield other than through the portal this year again.
Both of A&M safeties were LSU leans. One of them was an LSU commit at one point. Bryce Anderson was committed to LSU, flipped his commitment to Texas A&M right before signing day.
Does Jordan Gilbert play?
Jordan Gilbert was the starting safety.
Yeah, I know he was
before, and then he got hurt.
Okay.
So you got three right there. That's three plug and plays.
And Jordan Matthews is
making plays
everywhere,
every weekend. He's finally getting comfortable playing college football.
And you have to. I don't know if Woodward was an incel for A&M and he had this thing planned out. I know he didn't give the extension, but the contract he gave Jimbo then to bounce pretty quickly and then just go straight to LSU.
I'll see y'all, dog.
Yeah, it's a nice chef's kiss for sure.
There's going to be people that can say the same thing that he did with Brian Kelly, but it feels. Would you rather be on that side of the spectrum or this side where you're Arkansas, Mississippi State, Texas A&M looking for a coach, or have a guy that's going to be here for 10 years?
Exactly.
I feel pretty good.
Right. You're on the right side of it
Yeah.
for now.
But
the thing about college football is you
It could
can
change
blink
tomorrow.
and you're on the other side of the coin. So you can't really point and laugh too much, because
no point in laughing from this end.
You can be in the situation pretty quick
tomorrow.
If you're everybody that's outside of Athens and Tuscaloosa, it feels like.
Bill Belichick to college football?
Yeah. No thanks. But we'll talk to Billy Luchi here in 10 minutes. One thing that you got to be cognizant of in recruiting with coaching is, you talk about a guy like Dave Aranda. When you talk about recruiting is kind of a pronged spectrum, right? And the two most prominent of the things that you must utilize is you have to win in the living room and you have to win on the field in development. If you can pitch development in the living room with good personality and good messaging and the ability to connect with people, then you're a dominant recruiter. Frank Wilson, right? I mean, let's just take the easy example. Frank Wilson is a guy that can win in the living room, and he can also show you on the field that he's developing, right? He's the running backs coach. He's put guys in the league. When they come to LSU, they're better when they leave than when they got there. They're graduating. They're better people. They're better football players. All the development that people that making these decisions are looking to point out and be proven to them is what a dominant Joe Sloan. Joe Sloan's a dominant guy that you can put in the living room, and you can also show his value on the field of what he's developing and how they're developing them. But if you're not that guy, and they exist, right? Like, I mean, where you're a really good on the field developer, but you're not that good in the living room. Dave Aranda, for instance. But Dave Aranda is a guy that you can recruit to, right? Like, you can send Frank Wilson into a top defensive prospect's living room and do all the eating, the laughing, the joke telling, the
technique in the living room,
the creating of relationships, the strengthening of relationships, all that goes into that. The things that Aranda doesn't really like to do. But Frank Wilson can tell the parent, the aunt, the uncle, the high school coach, the player, wait till I get you to campus and Coach Aranda shows you what he's going to do with you, what he's going to develop you into, how the defense is going to use you. And once you get that player back on campus and they've got the skins on the wall that they can reference of players that have either come through or that they've coached at other stops, that they've developed into better players than when they got there. Or you've got somebody on the current team that you can show is developing, is improving, is an All-American, is trending towards a first-round pick, whatever it may be. And then put them on a whiteboard, put them on a chalkboard, put them in the film room with the coach, and let them just go football 101 of how they're going to use you, how they're going to play you, how they're going to develop you. And then they recruit in the room, right? Like, they're recruiting face-to-face. They're recruiting right directly with one another. But they don't want to travel. They don't want to do the high school coaches. They don't want to go to the games on Friday night. They don't want to go sit in the living room. And look, I mean, every coach at some point is going to have to do that, but some coaches get to a point where you don't have to.
Well, that's the risk you run, right? Because you just had that. And I don't think Matt House, I mean, it's up for debate, but I don't know if Matt House loves recruiting either. So I don't know if you kind of retread that.
Yes, but what can I recruit to with Matt House? If I'm telling the defensive player, like, hey, come in, let me show you what House is going to do with you. You play a lot like who? That they're going to show.
Tyrann Mathieu was the one. I mean, that's what everybody was saying. Like, he gave his vote of approval, and everybody's like, okay, Tyrann likes him because but he feels like an NFL guy,
right?
And that's what I'm saying. It feels like if LSU wants to run this thing back.
He was a linebackers coach with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I understand that.
He wasn't the DB's coach. So if you need somebody to come out and give him some type of testimonial, then you need the top linebacker with the Kansas City Chiefs to come out and say, Matt House is my guy. Josh Allen, who played under House at Kentucky, now with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
On fire.
Big-time defensive player in the league. A a testimonial from Allen on House would go a long way, right? I mean, that was something that you can use in recruiting. Frank Wilson can go in the locker. Hey, you watch NFL football? Hell yeah. You know Josh Allen, Jacksonville Jaguars? Yeah. Listen what he had to say about Matt House. Listen what Matt House meant to his career. Now come back to Baton Rouge. Let me get you down to the facility. We'll get in the film room, and House is going to sit with you and show you how he can use you just like he used Josh Allen.
And I think it's a different conversation with if it's Dave Aranda, which I would love to see, because he could be, I've already been here. Look at what I've done in college. Look what I did with recruits. That it doesn't have to be a professional testimonial. It's, hey, when you get to LSU, look what I got these, look what I did with a 2019 offense, what feels like the 2023 offense, and he was able to adjust mid-year and make that defense viable. LSU was not used to moving that quickly and getting quick changes and having to play defense like that when you're scoring under a minute and you have no. I mean, what's the famous story from him at Texas where he's trying to get the defense ready on the whiteboard and LSU scores and they're like, we got to go back, and he's like, I didn't have any time to make adjustments. Dave Aranda adjusted. That would be my vouch for him, is that even if you don't get good players or he's not a great recruiter, quote unquote, he's got great scheme. He's got great defense.
Right.
That's his.
He's a defensive coordinator.
He is as good as it gets on that side of the football.
Right. He's looking for players, but he's looking for styles, and he can usually create and find styles of players that he has access to. And, I just think that you obviously would love to have both. And I think that you look for you look for guys like Frank Wilson, Joe Sloan, Cortez Hankton, guys that have proven
Mason Taylor.
They can recruit, and then you get them onto campus, and they develop the players, right? I mean, if you're a wide receiver right now, how are you telling Cortez Hankton no? I mean, really, if you're a quarterback, how are you telling Joe Sloan no?
Michigan don't even have a coach.
If I'm a receiver or a quarterback, the only other school I'm listening to, wide receiver, I'd listen to Ohio State. But anywhere else, I'm looking at LSU and I'm like, I want to go play in that.
It's crazy.
And Georgia and Alabama and Michigan are telling other players, why would you go to LSU and play defense in that?
Right.
Exactly.
That's what they're saying to high school prospects. And you have to, and they're also telling him they're not getting developed. They're not getting coached up. So what are you going to do?
I mean, look at Wardell Mack.
Mack.
He flipped his commitment from Florida to Texas and didn't say a word.
Didn't mention LSU.
I wonder why he flipped.
All right, we got Billy Luchi coming up here. Texags, texags.com. Huge story in college football, dominating the media, and it will be for the next 24 hours, is going to be what Texas A&M is going to do. Texags.com broke the story with Luchi on Sunday. When we come back, we will talk to Billy about what's next in College Station, as we are here in the Jordy Culotta Show, live every single day, and brought to you by our friends over at Hughes Mechanical Contractor. Hughes Mechanical Contractor is online at hughesmechanical.net. HVAC repair service here in town, both residential and commercial services. Headquartered in Zachary, they got an office over in Covington, and you can hit them online at hughesmechanical.net. 225-658-2147. 225-658-2147 is the phone number. HughesMechanical.net online. That's it's HughesMechanical.net online. Hughes Mechanical Contractors, 225-658-2147. Billy Luchi next here on the Jordy Culotta Show, built by R&B.
Pass him back, Aggs.
Pass him back, Aggs. Actually, don't pass him back.
Slow up, bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up, bounce back, can't let you fold up.
If you're in the market for a mortgage lender, you need to start with Doug Bickley and his team. Bickley has built a crew with over 50 years of combined lending experience. They've been in business for over 20 years, and they love helping their clients achieve the American dream of home ownership. They're also key with working in real estate agents and helping their clients getting same-day pre-approval. They average about one buyer a day getting them in a home. If you want to get in touch with Doug and his crew, it's easy. Call them 225-214-5154. 225-214-5154. Go see the Bickley team today. They're located on the corner of Coursey Boulevard and Sherwood Forest right here in Baton Rouge.
What's up?
What's happening?
Chilling with a couple of cool guys. You?
Chilling and watching some tube. Hold on. Did you do it? Hold on. Did you do it?
Roof's up.
Hold on.
Roof's up?
Roof's up!
Roof's up!
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Can't put the cart before the horse. That'd be like, will you marry me?
Do I know you?
Never sign a contract with a roofer before he gets on your roof. Call Go Roof instead. We offer a free, no-obligation inspection. A beautiful roof every single time. Bobby, goes in the front.
Roof, roof, your roof.
Belmont Stakes Race Trainer. I'm sticking to roofing.
Roof, roof, your roof.
Kentucky Derby training. I'm sticking to roofing.
Roof, roof, your roof.
Head health is incredibly important for our student athletes. One of the best ways we're trying to address concussions is on the front end. We're trying to prevent these before they happen. And a big part of that is speaking to the athletes, letting them know what to expect. Okay, speaking to the parents, what to look out for, talking to the coaches so they know the vital importance. Some of the big things we're looking for with the concussion, which is, a traumatic brain injury, is one, was there a mechanism? Was there an injury that took place that could lead to this? Often a direct blow to the head, a head-to-head hit. If someone's showing signs of concussion, our first step is always to remove them from activity, get them to a place where there's less stimuli, where we can really just sit down and get a feel for the athlete, what they're feeling. We're looking for headache, we're looking for dizziness, any sign that coordination is off, that something's just not right. Get a good evaluation of them to understand what's going on. It's not worth the risk that may be there to kind of ignore it, because there are very serious consequences if we don't treat a concussion properly.
Don't let concerns about shifts in the market disrupt your long-term financial goals. Edward Jones financial advisor Daniel Newman can help. He'll work with you on an investment strategy for long-term results. Edward Jones can give you the tools and knowledge for a steady approach to hitting your financial targets. Get started today by calling Daniel Newman at 225-261-8262. 225-261-8262. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Malik Neighbors, a wide receiver.
Favorite pregame meal?
Popeyes.
What would winning a national championship mean to you?
It would mean a lot to me because, we seen a lot of the greats come through here, won their national championship, got, remembered for life.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Probably fly. That or telekinesis.
What's the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Do it wrong, do it long. Do it right, do it light. Carousel, wide receiver, number 2.
Do you have any nicknames?
K2.
What's the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
Stay humble.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Fly. I be flying in my dreams.
What's been the highlight of your partnership with us?
The bike giveaway was one of the best things. I was pretty excited about that one. Texas A&M, I just got a point to prove because last year I dropped 2 balls I should have caught. I'm coming for them for real.
That's it. Thank you, man.
My name is Harold Perkins, and I play linebacker.
What's your favorite pre-game meal or snack?
Pasta with a little steak, something that's not too heavy.
Any superstitions or pre-game rituals?
I pray a lot. Just be me and God before the game. Perky worky. I like when they call me the percolator. I like that.
If anyone gets in a wreck, who should they call?
Gore.
Where were you born at, Greg?
Hattiesburg, Mississippi. But I claim 5 food because I was raised there my whole life. Favorite type of food is spaghetti. But you need to try spaghetti with some corn on the side. Funniest person I'd probably get Kyron Lacey. He be having me joked out every time I talk to him.
Who's the most athletic?
You know, besides myself, Perk or Malik. Future yourself, just take one day at a time, one step at a time. If you're doing something, just be where your feet are. Make sure you give 100% effort.
Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. They say that life's a marathon, man, shout out to Nip. They start to think you falling off and they starting to flip.
Connected as anybody when talking about Texas A&M. He has all the information. He broke the news yesterday. Jimbo Fisher is moving on at Texas A&M, set to part ways with Jimbo Fisher. And Ross Bjork held a press conference on Sunday. That decision was reached at the recommendation. I'm reading from Billy Liucci's Twitter account here, at Billy Liucci, that you can follow him on social media. The decision was reached at the recommendation of the athletic department university president during Thursday's Board of Regents meeting. So the win on Saturday really could do Jimbo no good. Luchi checking in with us from College Station this morning. He is all over the country this morning, so we appreciate a couple of minutes with him. We'll get him in and out of here. Billy, it's good to see you. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great, Jordy. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. Obviously, trying times at A&M and the football program. How long has this been brewing, Billy? Is this a big surprise in College Station?
I think it was a surprise to a lot of people just because of the contract. You can see I'm on the road right now. I'm back
You're
here.
that man's little sprinter.
I appreciate that.
I've got my no. That's just my traveling closet for all this hotel time. But no, I think it was a surprise to a lot of people because they just weren't expecting it because of the contract. And I had said most of the year that that contract's too far a bridge to cross. You know, I didn't think they could do that. I think even the decision makers didn't think it was something that could happen. And then as the losses mounted, I go back to the Tennessee game where I felt the wind change a little bit.
Yeah.
That was a bad one. That was one that kind of got that ball going. But the Ole Miss game to me was what set it over the edge. Because there was a pre-scheduled Regent meeting the following Thursday, the timing was really bad for Jimbo to go into Oxford and lose with Lane Kiffin talking the way he did, that whole less with more message. Mm-hmm. I think it really, you had the game day guys laughing about it. And it's one thing if you guys in Baton Rouge are laughing about A&M underachieving. It's another thing when you go Saturday morning college game day, and it's real. We've all been there. That was it. That was, I think everybody came back to College Station and said, okay, can we get out of this? Can we afford it? And if the answer is yes, is this a decision we need to make? And unlucky for Jimbo that there happened to be all those regents coming in town for a closed-door meeting that Thursday on other topics. And they came in flaming pissed off after losing that game to Ole Miss, which a lot of those numbers were just too big to argue against. 10-11 in your last 21. 5 in a row against the Mississippi schools, 3 in a row against, 0-3 against Kiffin, 9 in a row on the road. Was that.
Who are the realistic names here? Who are some of the early guys to watch? And
Go
ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, you're saying you were following that up.
Yeah, I was just saying, does he make a move with, does he have the guy? I guess.
No.
Yeah.
This is the opposite of last time, right? When they had Jimbo Fisher. Even the time before where they didn't have Kevin Sumlin, but he was the very obvious guy they were going to look to. He was, right there up the road in Houston. He had coached at A&M before. He was a hot name there, in Conference USA. That was, you were going to be competing with Arizona State and UCLA. That was easy. This is going to be an actual search. This is going to be a real search. I don't think it's going to be like the LSU search where you're hearing names like Kelly and Riley and Jimbo. It's not going to be like the A&M search where Woodward just targeted Jimbo, and it was, look, it's going to be more like if A&M didn't get Jimbo, which might not be a bad thing for the Aggies, but I think Scott's backup that time of all people was Fuentes at Virginia Tech. So, I think you're going to see a level of you're going to hear names like Elko at Duke, Traylor at UTSA. You're going to hear I don't think you might even hear like Willie Fritz at Tulane. I think it's going to be all over the map, but you're also going to hear the Lannings and DeBoers of the world, and I don't think A&M is intention is to go that high in terms of buyouts and salaries, and with Lanning, I don't even think they can afford it. $20 million buyout to go with what you're paying Jimbo. So some of these names, when you hear them, it's going to be people that are kind of misinformed in terms of A&M is not going up to the plate looking for a PR grand slam and go hire somebody that has to be from a massive name program. That might happen. If they get interest from that side and go, holy cow, we can actually get this guy, they will rise up with the money and find it. But I think the search, Jordy, is going to be in that middle tier when you're talking about salary, where they're at, and kind of the splashiness of it all.
Last one, I'll get you out of here. I know you're slammed. Do the locals trust Bjork to run this? Does he have enough clout and credentials to run this process?
I think he's going to have help. I think they trust him to lead the process. Yeah, but I think he's going to have some help in terms of. No, I'm not talking about a committee of any kind, but I'm talking about 2 or 3 people that I've yet to hear those names, but 2 or 3 people that are going to be involved in the process with him, and I think he's gonna head it up. But I do think there's going to be, I don't know if checks and balances is the right word, but certainly some input, from other areas, from some just differing opinions there, so they can kind of come to a collective decision.
Luch, I know you're slammed today. Thanks for the time, man. Great to see you. We'll see you in a couple of weeks in Baton Rouge.
See you in a couple weeks. Yeah, I look forward to it. I'll text you when you catch up, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Billy Luchi, TexAgs.com. If you're looking for information on the Aggies, he's the spot. We appreciate him jumping on this morning and talking about the opening over there in College Station, as that was one that kind of hit the college football world a little T-boned yesterday. And I don't think a lot of people were expecting that news to break on Sunday like it did with Jimbo being out in College Station. So that is one to watch as they will try and fill this
void,
this opening.
Who could they bring in that would make the Ags happy?
That's a good question.
Pass them back, Ags.
Pass them back, Ags. But would it be? I mean, was that Petrino's offense that you saw roll out 50 points?
I mean,
he's in the house.
Definitely looked like an outlier,
right? And so, if they're going middle tier, I mean, Elko. I just don't know if they can go somebody like that after you just tried to retread Jimbo, who's an older coach, and it just feels like they're yearning for somebody to come in and save the program, and a Dan Elko or a Leopold ain't gonna do it. Like, that's just not the spot. It feels like you got to go. Texas A&M's continued to double down and go big, so Luchi knows obviously way more than I do about what's going on in Texas A&M, but
just so much money to spend.
Yeah,
because you got to buy the other coach out and pay Jimbo's buyout.
Well, not only that, you got to buy the staff out too.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to think that it's not just Jimbo.
It's upwards of $100 million.
No, it's probably is
120 million.
Yeah, no, it's probably $100 million. Just to do away with your current staff, you're looking at $100. And then to bring somebody else in, whoever it is, you're going to have to commit the money to them. Yep. And in today's world, for whatever reason, 10-year contracts are now in.
Yep.
And that is what is being moved in college football. So, I mean, if you lock yourself in to another, let's not even call it a decade, let's call it 6-7 years to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you're looking at nearly another decade of at least a commitment of another 100. So now you're 200 in, and you hadn't even recruited a player yet.
Damn.
Like you hadn't even seen
foot
him
in
on the
Texas.
field. You had to put a headset on.
I mean, what about Lane for this job?
I think Lane could be somebody to watch for sure.
That would be a splash.
Because, like, I mean, I think he's made his, like, I think he's hit
the ceiling.
Yeah.
And he knows that. He's looking around for reasons. I think the Auburn job last season he was very close to taking that
He
job.
pissed off a bunch of people to Ole Miss, too, doing that.
Right. I think this Arkansas job is going to open up, and there could be his name was starting to pop around. If you remember, he was like the final. He was the guy
for Arkansas.
But before Pittman. Like, they wanted him bad.
When are they going to figure it out?
Before Pittman. They, right now, they've got money.
Yeah.
That they don't spend. They've got the second biggest endowment in the SEC behind A&M.
I thought what Bjork said yesterday about the money was pretty interesting, and you probably have the luxury of only thinking like this on a certain amount of college campuses around the country. I would say, probably like 15 to 20% can think like this. A&M obviously in that number, but him when asked and pressed about the money and the buyout, and him saying, look, we have no idea what this economically is going to look like in 2 to 3 years from a structure standpoint. Whether you're going to have to start spending the profits with players, whether you're going to have to start sharing the money with certain entities, sponsorships, we don't even know this. So it gets you in this mindset, and it sounded like Bjork and the boosters, right, were in the mindset of, hey, look, what else are you going to do with it? Like, you just let it stack up here, spend it, right, before somebody comes in here, audits it, and says you have to share it here. And like I said, I saw where Arizona was claiming their athletic department was struggling to profit. I know that there's certain schools that can't even fathom having these types of conversations. But for schools like A&M, I'd imagine that LSU is a degree of that. They're not, by any means competitive to A&M in that type of financial structure. But they have the money to play. You can see with the way that Woodward is spending, it kind of feels like that, right? Like, who knows what's on the horizon? Make sure and beef up and commit to these leaders before you get to a spot where you may not be able to spend like you can now. And, really, I mean, it sounds like monopoly money. It feels like monopoly money. And then you cut the check.
You can't.
I mean, Jimbo's about to make $20 million over the next 30 days.
Bobby Bonilla is jealous for the first time in his life.
And then he makes $7.5 million until, what did I see, 2031?
You just can't swing and miss again.
No.
But there's nobody solidified out there. It's not like Billy said, it's not like it was when kind of LSU was looking for a coach, and I would say LSU even the first go-round, whenever Les didn't get fired, whenever it felt like there were so many names that you could kind of draw straws from. But this year, I don't know who's out there that really tickles your fancy.
Besides somebody
But
already with a job.
Exactly. You'd have to woo somebody, but even at A&M, at some point, the money comes home to roost because you're paying players God knows how much.
Yeah.
You're paying the staff that you have to buy out. Like, at what point are you just like, this... We're not liquid anymore. Feels like Enron.
Right.
You're like, we're done.
Operating in the red.
Yeah, like we're going to have to
and
cut. And this is where you can't cut costs.
And bringing in $80 million a year.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like.
And losing.
And can't pay your light bill.
Like, it's bad over here. We ain't no more light show, fellas.
Yeah, right.
That midnight yell's about to be real
That's
dark.
why the LEDs are off the table.
Yeah.
Can't spend it.
Hey,
Sorry, man.
buy out Ogeron.
Good
Hands
Lord.
You're still paying Matt Canada.
Oh, my God.
Are they?
Would they cut Matt Canada? They cut Matt Canada a $3 million check.
Well, that seems right. I would have loved to have seen those two go toe-to-toe. Matt Canada must have something on...
Somebody. Everybody.
Everybody. Man's an operative.
I mean...
No, I got a job. Don't you worry about that.
I don't have a job.
You go ahead and lose to Troy. Don't run my offense.
They had a Fire Matt House sign behind the game day set on Saturday in Athens.
Oh, God.
Oh.
My man made it to Athens.
I mean...
Matty H. I kind of want to give him some leash, but I just don't think it's going to happen. It's such a bad situation with everything that didn't go his way defensively. Mason Smith gets hurt. Jimmy Lindsey was back for the first time.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he coached. You know, it just felt like he was kind of but it felt like he was kind of taking it in, like back to some sort of normalcy. You have 4 DBs that haven't played. I guess they played okay. It just feels like you have to run such a stock defense because you're terrified of getting beat over the top. That Matt House's hands are tied, but
just
somebody's going to have to go.
Watching that every week is just so painful.
It's so painful.
You got 10 yards off the ball. It's 3rd and 5, coach.
And people want to blame the defense.
Can we walk up a little bit? 2 steps up?
It looks like the first day of install.
Yeah, it's like it's high school 1A football. We're playing cover 3 or cover 4.
And everybody knows it.
Keep
everything in front of you.
Yeah, right.
Make the tackles.
And somehow it still gets behind you.
It is.
It is.
It is flag.
But you can't blame him. He's got 18-year-olds out there.
Yeah, but it's like you got to mix it up. I mean, no matter who's out there, you got to mix it up. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to run cover 3 or cover 4 every play, and then they're not going to dot that up.
I think he's going, we got Jaden Daniels on the other side.
Yeah, it's cool, but you gotta put those defensive players in a position like they're
to
putting
make plays.
Jaden
If you
Daniels
can get 2
on
stops
offense.
a half.
Oh, you feel like you're playing with
you should win every game by 2
playing with
touchdowns.
house money.
I mean,
no pun intended.
I mean, really.
But that's really what you ask for. If you can get 1 stop on defense, it feels like a quarter. You're just she's going to put up 50, and sometimes that hadn't been enough this year.
Yeah.
And if you don't, that's what you were saying earlier. If you don't have Jay Daniels this year, like as good as I think Nussmeier will be next year, this man had 600 yards of offense by himself.
No, I mean Jaden Daniels, that's the best quarterback performance I've ever seen,
especially in an LSU uniform.
At LSU.
Besides,
I'm trying to think that ones that any better than that. I mean. Maybe as good.
Vince Young in the Rose Bowl?
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You know what I mean? But, I can't think of
Joe Burrow anytime?
Yeah, anytime.
I mean, I think, Burrow, Texas.
Yeah, but,
you don't
get that.
You don't get
electricity
that.
running.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It's different for sure.
You got the long
Burrow was
ball
almost expected.
Yeah.
But Jaden's getting in that territory where I don't know what he's going to do, but it's going to be something good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's just...
85 yards and not getting
touched.
Whisper quiet.
G5. Didn't get touched. Didn't get touched.
That Bugatti was in.
I mean,
fifth gear action, and I got 6th if you need it, but I don't.
I don't need that. I don't
he's
need that.
He's playing 2-hand touch out there.
Mm-hmm.
Until he's not.
Yep.
But like I said,
he's learning.
I feel like the offense is learning a little bit. They got their swagger back.
Yeah, they do. And I mean,
it felt like a vintage LSU.
It's good for
an
offense.
FU in there.
You lose a weapon like they lost in Diggs, and you still see the production at the rate that it was at. I mean, you lose somebody that means so much to the offense, and Diggs was trending in a point where he was, he was a counted on asset. And to take him out and to plug and play guys like they did with Noah Cain, Josh Williams this past weekend, those guys give you the production they did. We talked about Williams at the start of the show. I mean, you should see those highlights forever. I mean, those are forever type highlights for LSU.
Oh, that's going on the video board.
Fournette running over Auburn defenders type stuff.
Ole Miss.
I mean, that is...
Yeah, that's a video board.
That is epic.
And for somebody that is kind of like a silent assassin, hasn't done... talk softly and carry a big stick. That man got up and said all the shit.
He did.
Jaden wanted to get in on the edge. Like they said that he was the one that was popping off pregame 15.
Right. Yeah, I love that.
Was the guy that was. He's like, and he was barking all game.
Oh boy, he kept his head down.
Oh my, it was 8 Mile rap battle. Your real name's Clarence.
Shout out to my guy Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Service, who you can get in touch with 225-485-8022. Been cutting the grass and keeping the yard maintained for the last 2 years. He's got a new service that I took part in. I'm the only house in the block with Christmas lights.
Oh,
right now.
Well, we have Thanksgiving yet.
I know, and I usually bang on these people, man. I mean, I'm usually the ones that never has lights, never has any decoration. I've already got my Christmas lights up, and it's all because of my guy who takes care of my yard. Blake Abear of Abear's Lawn Service. He told me about a new service they had, and he came over, got the place lit up. Block looks fantastic. I'm getting compliments. People talking about, like, I had a husband drive by. He's like, dude, what's
going on here?
My wife was like, when are we putting our Christmas lights up?
This is a trap house.
I mean, Colada's got his up down the street.
Turn it over a new leaf.
He's like, what is this? I thought this place was vacant the last 5 years.
That's how I like it.
But Blake Aber,
So does he do this for everyone?
He does it for everybody. It's a service.
So
he puts them up. He come in, install the lights. Very fair pricing by the foot. He has, like the top of the line lights. His crew does it. They're in and out. It was quick, and I mean, it's awesome, man. I mean, Abear's Lawn Service. I would recommend you getting them to take care of your lawn and maintain your yard. But if you want to check that out, yeah, you can check that out. They're fantastic at that. But they're also putting up Christmas lights.
Gordon, he's going to be on the case for that Santa Claus that went missing. That's Blake's next job. Found that for, what is it, $50K?
Was it $50K?
I think he
Wait,
got
what's Santa Claus?
Remember the inflatable Santa that went missing last year?
Damn.
So Blake,
how do you
if
steal
find,
$50K?
How do you steal an inflatable?
Quit my job and try to find
Coach,
Santa
you know
for
you're talking
$50K. You have the Josh Williams block?
Yes.
I love the play call too. These end arounds
The
with Malik
little
and Brian
pop
Thomas.
pass.
Just get the ball in their hands, man.
Oh.
Put the ball in your best
When are
players'
we going to do this for Aaron Anderson?
hands. I mean,
He'll
at
get
this
one.
point, man.
But game!
D-cleater, coach.
Get some.
I mean, it's just epic football play.
Yeah, what you say now? Yeah, dude, he's got nothing.
Look, he just
I'm just going to
Dude,
go back.
that man, dude, John,
he got out of there, dude. That is, I'm telling you, that is one of the finest LSU football highlights I have ever seen.
Yep.
bro, you know how lonely that feeling is to walk back to the sidelines with
After
nothing
you just
to
got
say.
bodied.
I got nothing.
I'm about to go talk to my coach.
Pride stolen.
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 And you know, like as a 18 to 24-year-old, you know how high your pride is, especially like you playing on TV.
I'm a 5-star.
Then you got to watch it. Then you got to watch it.
Watch it again Sunday.
In film.
They were probably on him too. Like, look at this. Look at this.
Oh, he's gonna be on. He's gonna be on Twitter.
You meet the running back with the outside shoulder, not the inside shoulder.
You know why you got lit up right here?
Oh God.
You know why you got decleated? Because you stood straight up in the hole.
I didn't see him, coach.
You flashed your chest. You kept your pads high. You served you right. You're lucky you didn't get your helmet popped off.
I mean,
let's watch it again. Look, run it back right here. What? Look, stand up straight. Boom.
Where your eyes at?
Stand up straight. Boom. Stand up straight. Boom.
While he's circling it with the laser.
One more time.
Everybody now.
For all you freshmen back there who want to play, this is not how you do it.
This is teaching tape and the wrong kind.
I mean, just
going
brutal.
And he's just sitting there with his hands.
Stand up straight. Boom. Hey, Coach, I
I'm
got
going
it.
to protocol.
I got it. Did you see Bill O'Brien and Mac Jones?
Oh my God. Have you ever been to the principal's office?
Coach, Mac. How is Mac Jones that bad? That is a regression that I have not. I mean, give me somebody. Give me somebody.
They put in Zappy.
Who has regressed. No, I'm talking about who has gotten
Derek
that
Carr.
bad. I mean, wasn't Mac Jones's... Wasn't his
rookie year
the benefit of him wasn't his accuracy?
Yeah.
Wasn't that like the thing that he was good at? I mean, now I get you're throwing to Devonta Smith and all these guys in college, but I mean, the way he misses
is bad.
It is like elementary school football. Like, I mean, it is. He's got people running by themselves. This is the second week in a row I have seen him miss a receiver that's just, he's standing by himself.
Oh, he runs the corner route into cover 2 and he throws it straight to the safety.
I mean,
he was open.
It's like...
And Bill O'Brien's just like, I can't work with you.
What are you looking at?
I think it's going fast, coach.
Yeah, it's way too fast.
And then Zappy comes in and does a fake spike and throws it into triple coverage.
Jameis.
And you got tape of Belichick walking around shirtless in the morning.
The Patriots,
They've
man.
never felt this level of shame.
Tom Brady. I mean, you
get all the flowers.
You thought he was the most valuable player. Good Lord. Look at the stuff he was covering
Most
up.
valuable coach.
Good Lord. But, I mean, shit, you can't say anything. The Saints aren't.
No, the Saints
They
are
just
terrible.
keep dropping.
Saints are terrible.
What happened to the defense?
Old. They're old. I mean, like they're still good. But they're old.
And I mean, you look at it like, if the offense is bad and we keep
The
going out
offense
there,
shouldn't be bad.
But you keep going out there getting stops for the offense, getting them the ball back, getting them
Now
the
they're
ball
starting
back.
to lose players. Marshawn Lattimore left yesterday.
Yeah, that was a high ankle.
High ankle too. And it's just like, damn, I'm tired of going out here getting y'all the ball back and
nothing's happening.
No, not even 3 points.
Jameis will sling that thing though. Good Lord.
Across the field.
I'll sling it to us and then to the defense.
Oh, you put it perfectly. He's a roller coaster, brother.
The touchdown pass was unreal.
Which one? He came in and goes 5 for 5 with a ton. They're like, "There's Jameis," then immediately throws a pick. There you go.
My fault.
My bad.
My fault.
That's
Yeah,
on
no
me.
shit, bro. You threw it to triple coverage.
I was trying to let you make a play.
I'm about to dot these boys up.
I ain't gonna sack. Where do you think that? I mean, it might be early for this conversation. You did this with Burrow a little bit. Where does Jaden end up?
He's a first-round pick, huh?
If he's on what is a first-round pick if this guy's on a first-round pick? What does
What's
it
a
take?
Heisman winner
I
if
mean,
he's not a
what does
Heisman
it
winner?
take to be a first-round pick if he's not done enough to be a first-round pick at quarterback?
Gotta cry on your mom's arms.
I mean, you're telling me that I got to watch.
Yeah, you
like,
got to cry in your mom's arms to be first.
I mean, I got to watch these guys taking snaps in the league on Sundays. Taylor Heineke.
Oh, the Green Genie.
I mean,
And you're not.
Josh Dobbs is on his third team this
Jayden
year.
Daniels can't get a select. That guy's a first-round pick, man. I mean,
I was talking about this yesterday, and I think what's crazy about the NFL, it's all about like set and setting. Like wherever you go, it doesn't really matter where you go unless you're generational. Like Burrow felt like wherever he went, he was going to land on his feet. Even if you're talking about like Patrick Mahomes, if he didn't go to the Chiefs, I don't really know. He said himself, he's like, I didn't know how to read a defense until I got with Alex Smith. Like we looked at so many different things for Texas Tech that had nothing to do.
Yeah.
It was all offensively based.
Right.
And so it just feels like some of these guys. I mean,
DeMarcus.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
If he goes under Andrew Reid and
if
goes
DeMarcus goes to
anywhere,
29 other teams in the league,
He's the best player in
who
the
knows
league,
what
probably.
happens to him? If he just goes to Oakland, he might fizzle out and be home in 3 years. You
and
know,
that's
I mean,
what happened.
just
And Lane was like, "Please don't make me do this."
right.
Well, you got to.
Lane Kiffin could be a sneaky name to watch in a lot of job openings.
Looking at this mock draft, this is Sports Illustrated. They have Malik going. Is this 15 overall?
15.
Yeah,
I
they
saw
got
him
him
going
low.
5 2 weeks ago.
19 overall to the Saints.
Well, they don't need. I mean, once
awesome.
I'm out, you reel me back in.
Right, but I mean, they don't need.
They don't
Malik
need
Neighbors.
that.
They don't.
They might need Jaden Daniels at 15.
They do.
Got Brian Thomas going 31 overall to the Chiefs.
Love
Of
it.
course.
Love it.
Let him go to the Chiefs.
Love it. Be an all-pro.
They might trade up for Malik.
Pat Mahomes is telling Tyreek Hill he loves him after they beat the shit out of the Dolphins.
The Dolphins?
And that's just because he doesn't have receivers. I miss you, dog.
Yeah,
Dude, he's throwing to nobody.
Nobody.
And putting it just in our chest.
That's
You
what
have
the-
to
that's
catch
what the
it.
Saints did when they were competitive. I mean, you gotta be wise where you spend your money.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna be, if all your money's gonna go to your quarterback, and you're gonna be that type of team,
He better be good.
right? And if he's that good, it doesn't take much. Get Kadarius Toney,
Just get open, dog.
Right.
And you don't even have to be open. I'll throw it.
he'll throw you open a lot
Yeah,
of the
this
times.
ball's on your head.
And you got
Jaden
one
Daniels.
player like Travis Kelce.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Jaden Daniels 40 overall to the Saints. Second round pick.
Who put this together?
Sports Illustrated. I don't know.
I mean, is he just a Saints fan?
I guess.
That just take what?
Malik and
Yeah, the Saints are just going to be the Philadelphia Eagles with Georgia. Did you see Kirby Smart say that? He's like, I mean, at least the Eagles wised up, taking a bunch of Bulldogs, and everybody goes, "Roar, roar, 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 roar," in the back, and he's like, hell yeah, this is a great pitch for me.
I mean, Pat McAfee
Eating off the floor.
Yeah, you have the eat. I want players that eat off the floor shirt.
He is a...
He ingrains himself into the. Every
Oh my
atmosphere
God!
he's
Talk about
in.
playing to the crowd.
Oh, my God.
He does it better than anybody.
Oh, my God.
My brother is like, I can't stand McAfee after the Alabama. He was just groveling to save. He's like, what do you want him to do?
But I mean, he could have pulled Saban's pants down on game.
Oh
day
yeah,
six.
it was. I mean, he.
Well, I mean, that's a relationship.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
how you get.
I
The,
get
that's
it,
how you get
but
the
like-
gig.
Don't get on your knees for me.
Oh.
Pat.
All right, have a good Monday out there. We
But dude-
appreciate you being there. Tough loss for LSU basketball.
Yeah. Matt McMahon was hot.
Good. He should be.
I respect it.
Cody Worsham's fault.
Hit the like button, share button, comment button. We appreciate you being there. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Jordy Culotta Show, as always, live here at Click Here Digital and built by R&B.
Name another school that had back-to-back ring ceremonies. You can't. Play my theme music.
Hey, Chino. Put my headphones up, bro. Right there. Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification. We about to go live. We got all your favorite guests. We got them in line. It's the Jordy Colada Show. Come have a good time. It's the hottest show around. We ain't got to flex. Call Apollo G, we get it done, we earning our respect. Tell recruits to let us in, where they going next? Throw up the L's, now we lit, band playing Nick. From the boot to the east to the west coast, no matter where we at, we live, mic'd up for show. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show, yeah. Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Colada Show, come have a good time.